Good evening and welcome to the Couch Coach. This evening we welcome back runners preparing for the Cape Town Marathon happening in September. We have Khadija, we have Zaahid and the infamous Coach Neezaam. Welcome back. So Neezaam, when last you were in studio, we were talking about preparations for the Cape Town Marathon, and we're just basically checking in now on how those preps are going.
You know, when we started prepping, when I started prepping this group, you know, I was overwhelmed with the response that we got. Like Coach Pine mentioned the last time, we were on about 100 odd people. Everyone was on the chat, and funny enough, everything is working so nicely and smoothly. Awesome. And the group's enthusiasm and the encouragement of the group from each other has actually been such a great experience. And everyone's motivation, and it's showing actually through the results they're getting at the moment. So I'm very happy with the results.
Awesome. Welcome to the show, Zaahid.
Thanks for having me.
Typically, what sort of injuries do we look at with runners? Now, I'm not talking specifically the elites because the show is all about the community, grassroots level.
Yeah.
So the weekend runner, so to speak.
The weekend warriors.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, look, our weekend warriors are the ones who sustain the most injuries because a lot of the time our injuries are too much too soon.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you find most of your injury occurrences. So people come off a short layoff or a long layoff and they think, okay, I can run my 5K in 30 minutes again where I left off. And they sustain it maybe for 2 or 3 weeks and then they hurt themselves. That's where these guys earn their money. So basically the name comes from what it feels like, because it feels like needles and pins that are sharp and stabbing you in your shin. Some people experience it on the outside. Most people experience it on the inside. Yeah, and basically where that description of the name comes from is the description of pain that you experience. This is known as your shin area and something splinting it, like a splint in your finger, for example. It's irritating, it's sharp, so that's what you would experience on that area.
Zaahid, you know what happened? Like I played soccer once on like the AstroTurf type of thing, and then you know, being unfit that time, all of a sudden jumping the fast game, the adrenaline takes over, and like start and stopping all the time.
Yeah.
And immediately shin splints. It was terrible.
Yeah. Look, I've noticed it a lot with soccer players. So normally they're playing on grass, they train on grass, and then suddenly they play an away game and they have to play on an AstroTurf. And then halftime comes, everyone's complaining, their calves are paining, their feet is burning. It's just a change in environment. Yeah. For runners, you're used to the road, or if you're on the trails, you're used to the trails. So it's a softer surface. Also, it's a different type of sport. With fives football or AstroTurf, it's stop and go, and it's quicker movements. So your body has to adapt to all of those things, and that's why obviously we train. But now social, there's no time for training. We got to work.
And so that's where the injuries come.
That's where the injuries come in.
Khadija, now Khadija is a marathon runner. Now, before we started recording, I asked us how many marathons have you run, and she can't remember.
It means a lot, right?
Yeah, I started, but I can't remember how many. But Neezaam may remember because I think when I started with Neezaam. So
yeah, quite. I think maybe in the region of maybe 20 odd, over 20, 30 maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, easily.
So I'm sure you must have come across injuries along the way.
I have, and I am sitting with an injury at the moment. But it's my knee. So I've been told that
Is
I
it
can.
also ITB?
I've been told that I can just run through it because I think it's like a runner's knee that I have. But I feel that the more I'm running with this injury, I feel like I'm going to damage something. So I'm just trying to figure out if I should lay off for a bit or continue running like I was told, but I can feel that there's something more to it. So I'm feeling like maybe I should just take a break.
We got a physio in studio.
Yeah. I can have a look at it.
She's like keeping that full history.
Get out of there.
Because I know he's going to direct me
Yeah.
in that direction.
We got a couple of minutes here before we have to go to an ad break. But very, very quickly, I think you're touching on something that I think is very important for our viewers out there to take note of. Is people have told me I can run through it.
Mm.
Somebody who has had an injury and then they went to see a physio and then they said, no, my physio told me to do this. Would you advise that sort of advice?
No. Always no.
Is it
So-
because you want to make more money?
Well, that's the one part, and the other part is everyone's different. My pain and your knee pain may be in the same area, but the reason for that pain is different. So I may have weakness where you may have no weakness and you may have repetitive strain. So your body just can't handle the amount of strain that you're putting on. Whereas I have weakness and I'm trying to apply stress to it, but automatically my body shuts it off.
Yes.
And that's where problems come from. So a lot of the time you'll hear, no man, just run it off, it's fine, or walk it off, keep on going, run through the pain, no gain. It doesn't work. We got to listen to our
That's a
bodies.
motto though, no pain, no gain. Oops. I'll talk to you.
We gotta rethink that.
I think we're referring to something else though, not injuries.
Yeah. Look, it's mental pain that I think that,
But
Neezaam
I think
is
also
talking to about.
another important thing in my view that Khadija touched on was the fact that she feels that if she keeps going, and I think it's important,
Yeah.
along with so many other ailments that we have, we know our body better than anybody else. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I always tell my patients also, look, your body will tell you what you need. And she's already said she feels like she needs to stop. She feels like if she goes further, if she pushes a bit harder, something's going to happen and something wrong or bad is going to happen. And that's where you know I've got to seek help.
Yeah.
Sure.
Don't,
Now, in the theme of seeking help, we're gonna have to take a short break to pay bills so that we can keep going. I need that help. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back in a few. Before we went on break, Khadija was telling us about an injury she picked up on her knee.
No, that's fine.
Speaking to our physio Zaahid, he has offered to give us some advice to impart on to Khadija and also speak to us about a couple of other common injuries that runners experience.
So what we'll do is we'll do a few quick checks that can tell us a lot, and then we'll do a lot that can treat a lot. So it's very non-specific, but just to get an idea of what types of things you should be doing and so on. Tell me, recently was there any increase of mileage rapidly or anything like that's changed in your routine?
No.
No.
I actually felt this after 2 oceans already. I think because of all the yields and maybe all the mileage that I was doing, and also because I used to do strength training up until like 2 months before oceans, and then I stopped.
Okay.
So I think that may have contributed to me now picking up an injury.
Right. So now you're not doing
So
strength training
now,
anymore, just
yeah.
running.
Yes.
Okay.
So
That
I
does help
think-
though.
Mm.
Right. I always tell my athletes, whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned athlete, professional, semi-pro, whatever, you got to do strength training. That is your prevention. Okay. So let's do a couple of quick checks, and then based on what we see, I'll give you a couple of exercises to do. Okay. Is that okay?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Do you understand for me? Okay. What I want you to do is a normal squat. Okay. I don't care how you squat. Just squat.
Okay.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I won't go down my
Okay.
knees.
Did you run yesterday? Sorry.
The heels were alive.
Okay. How does this feel besides your stiffness?
I don't feel anything when I do
Okay.
this.
No niggles, nothing like that.
No.
Let's try the same thing but on one leg. Okay. Okay. Let's do the other side.
I feel it now.
Okay. Where do you feel it?
Over here.
On the inside. That sharp pain.
Like a pain, but it's more sitting over here now.
Okay, so more underneath than on top
Yes.
where you normally feel
Yes.
it. Okay, so it's close enough. Okay. What about if you jump on that leg?
I don't feel a pain.
You sure?
No.
Jump repetitive. So go up, up, up.
No pain. But
Okay.
when I stop, the minute I do this on my toes, I can feel it.
Okay, so let's check if you feel it when you land or when you jump off that foot. Okay, so jump onto it, so jump from the left onto the right, and then jump from the right onto the left.
No, it's when I do.
Onto it.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think
So it's more with landing.
and I think it's because I run on my toes. So I feel like even
Like
now
a
when
fairy.
when I jump and I'm on my toes, I even jump on my toes. So it's I feel the
Okay. Yeah. So perhaps if we had enough time, we'd maybe look at how she runs. Like she said, she runs more on her toes. Long distance marathon running, we don't want that. We don't want to be on our toes. We want to be towards our midfoot. A lot of people run on the heel, they land on the heel, whereas she's complete opposite. She's like a sprinter on her toes all the time. So there's a lot of strain there. And what's going to happen is she's got to have to absorb a lot more through the knees. Okay?
Yeah.
So the knees are taking quite a bit of strain. She may have a slight
Taking notes,
niggle, old niggles that she may have and so on. Maybe she hurt herself when she was younger. That shows up.
So basically, it's important that, and granted, we're just doing this for demonstration purposes now, but it's important that you would actually need to go for a full evaluation so you can get the proper
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, because you want to be specific to your problem.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, everyone's different. My pain may be on the same area and the same type of pain experience, but the cause of pain is completely different. And that's
So
what
just
we
yeah.
wanna find out.
I'm just trying to be very conscious about the time now. So, what would be some good exercises you could do to
Okay.
strengthen
So
that area? over
One
here?
of the exercises we want to get her comfortable with is being in that bent knee position, because that's where she experiences the pain. So we load her in that position. I'm just going to use this quickly. I want you to put this around your leg, okay, both legs. So step into that. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, now you're going to stand on this leg, bend it very slightly, and try and hold it there. Okay, so a bit more, Okay.
Okay.
That's fine. Okay, now move this leg outward. Okay, and see how she's shaking? Alright, good. Bring it back in and then back out again. Okay, so let's change the direction slightly. So we move this leg backwards now. And we move it forward. And you've got to keep that leg bent.
Okay.
Okay, go.
It looks hectic.
You know how much pain I am today.
Glutes paining yet? Burning? Right. So where she should be experiencing some work in the muscles is on the inside of the thigh, right? And then towards the buttocks at the back over there. Is that where you're feeling it?
I can feel it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I can
So
feel it
that's
now.
one position, right? So where she's moving and changing direction, and she's got to keep this thing stable,
Sure.
right? Later stages we may move to, let's teach you how to absorb this movement, right? So once you're comfortable, once you're a bit more pain-free with this type of activity, we'll say, okay, jump up and learn how to absorb that impact of your body onto the ground. Right. So these are how she would potentially start. I wouldn't say this is how she would start. She may be a little bit too advanced for this, whatever the case is. We've got to obviously be specific, but this is what we would start off with.
Tell me something about like a quick fix type of thing, or not a quick fix, like, you know, like when it's starting, coming on, and people get a bit of swelling and stuff. Maybe like a, you know, icing or, you know, rice. But can you just quickly explain maybe rice while we're on the topic, and maybe how people would ice, just like something they can actually do at home before going to the physio, or something to relieve that initial pain or something.
Yeah. Look, in most cases, I think we can have a seat. My legs are getting tired. So in most
You can see a physio.
my wife's a physio.
Zaahid, I actually want to ask you, you know, like immediately when a runner starts feeling the pain, like after a run or something, we always hear this term thrown around, rice. Could you possibly explain to us rice, and also in that initial swelling phase, what is maybe best like to go about applying rice, and how simple it is?
So, RICE, basically what it stands for is rest, ice, compression, elevation. Okay, so within your first 48 to 72 hours after onset of swelling or injury, that's when you're going to experience most of your swelling, right? And that's when you want to apply your RICE methods. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to apply ice with compression. So you could use a bag of peas, for example, if you don't have a normal ice pack. If you have plastic bags, you could put some ice blocks in there, throw some water in just so that it gets cold quite quickly, wrap it in a towel and then cover it.
So for how long? Yeah.
So this would stay on for about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, the effect of icing takes between 5 to 7 minutes according to the research. Okay, what the effect is in the initial stages where it's very painful, where it starts to get numb, it's like, I want to get this ice off. That's when the most important things are happening, and that's when everything constricts. Okay, it tightens up. Okay, then it starts to go numb, and it's like the ice isn't even there anymore. I'm sure you've experienced that's like, is this thing still here? It's warm. You start touching it, like nothing's happening. But that's when you will actually feel it gets warm inside. So the ice on the surface is cold, but deep inside it feels as though it's warm. And that's when everything starts to open up. So our bodies realize this, and it opens everything up again, right? And that's where you feel that warmth inside, and that's blood being rushed through the area, circulated through the area,
which induces or helps recovery.
Exactly. Well, how do we recover? Good nutrients to the area, so it flushes the old things and brings in the new things. So that's your ice method. Like I said, you can just use a towel or a bandage or anything. Just give it some compression, keep it up above the area. So if it's your knee, you want to try and keep it above the hip. The same with the foot. Try and just raise. The further away it is from your heart, try and keep it up.
Okay.
And but other home remedies, you see people rolling the foot on a ball or like a little frozen bottle. What does that really do?
So we mentioned earlier about the plantar fasciitis and so on, and basically that's just inflammation and tension underneath the foot. Very common in runners, especially after longer runs and so on. So what you want to do with a ball or with a bottle of ice and so on, take it under the foot and then apply some pressure. You're getting rolling done, so you're loosening up.
It feels good, eh? It's like a massage.
Right? You're loosening up.
I usually use a cricket ball.
Yeah.
I tell my patients use a golf ball or hockey ball.
Yeah.
Get in
Anything
there,
hard.
don't be scared. And then you're getting ice at the same time.
Yeah.
So you're doing two things at the same time while you're watching Seven the Light.
Thank you so much for that. I think it opened up a hell of a lot more questions.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing because it's getting the mind going. So hopefully we can pick this up again down the road, and we hope to see you guys back and hear about how the marathon training is going.
Thanks so much.
Do you have a message to your runners out there before we close?
You know what? There's not much I can say more. I talk enough on the chat and stuff, but they actually inspire me and they keep me running, keep me fit. And you know what? I'm seeing better times as well. So I should thank them actually. Awesome.
Khadija, in terms of runners out there with injuries, you have a message for them?
I can just say listen to your body.
Very good.
And yeah, if you do feel anything coming on, I do suggest that you go and see
Specialist. He's very good.
Does that mean you're making an appointment?
And I'm sure he'll be able to help you to try and, get down to what the issue is, and then basically just take it from there. Listen, that's all I can say actually, listen to your body.
Awesome. And the physio?
Yeah, look, Khadija said it, listen to your body, that's the most important thing. Listen to your coaches, don't overdo it, rather do it over. It's very important that you apply that balance to your life, because at the end of the day, you got to work, you got to look after the kids, and you want to enjoy your social life with running or whatever sports that you're taking part in. So yeah, look and listen.
Thank you so much for joining us, and like I said, I hope to see you guys again soon. For you guys out there, we're just playing some balls, and when we get back, we're hopefully not going to be sculling the ref. Welcome back to the Couch Coach and our closing segment of the show, Don't Scull the Ref. Welcome back, Mr. Appoles.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks.
A lot of interesting things happened over the weekend. Rugby-wise,
Yes.
we had the championship trophy that started again. But I think before we get into that, let's pick up on where we left off last week. We looked at the tackle. We did the introduction to the tackling,
Sure.
law-wise. What else do we have to know about the tackle?
Yeah, well, we went through the definition of the tackle, and it's always a contentious issue,
Sure.
especially when it involves foul play. So, you always get your couch referees or couch coaches that, they have a go and they have their own interpretation of what is a high tackle, what's a dangerous tackle. The guy gets tapped around the ankles and someone shouts high tackle. So, yeah, we don't want that. So, and especially after the controversy of last year with the Springboks and Owen Farrell's tackle on Esterhuizen, there was a major outcry from, everybody.
Everybody, yeah.
Yeah, and World Rugby, they've actually come out with a bit of a guideline list of what that should be, and to give referees and players, a bit of protocol in terms of what they would be considered. So just before we do that, in terms of the definition, so a shoulder charge, in terms of what World Rugby says, the definition is the arm of the shoulder making contact. So the tackler, the player carrying out the tackle, so the tackler, his arm of his shoulder making contact with the ball carrier. It's behind his body. So almost like in a slingshot position when he makes contact. So it's basically there, okay, and the shoulder, he leads with the shoulder. As you'll hear, mostly the commentators would say, he's leading with the shoulder.
The arm becomes an afterthought.
Yeah, there was basically no intention. So irrespective if it was deliberately or unintentionally, the fact of the matter is he made contact with the shoulder first, leading with the shoulder. So that's the definition of a shoulder charge. Then we get the high tackle. And like I said, things happen so fast, and often people, they can debate all day. What is it, the high tackle? Was it a dangerous tackle? So the high tackle's definition, it's an illegal tackle causing head contact. So where the head contact is clear. So the arm comes around, unlike the shoulder charge. The arm comes around, but it makes contact with the neck or the head. Okay, so much so that it makes direct contact with the ball carrier. The head visibly moves backwards, and or the ball carrier requires what they call a ding-dong test, which is a concussion test thereafter. Yeah, so that's the term that especially our Aussie commentators prefer to use. But yeah, it's basically just it's a preventative measure to make sure that the player is quite fine after a severe knock to the head. So that is the definition. Now then, then we go in terms of what the World Rugby has outlined. The guidelines of when you identify if it's a high tackle or a shoulder charge, what your sanction as the referee is. So the rule and training for the referees, you always start red. Not necessarily going to give the red, but you always start worst case, and then you look at possible mitigating factors, or aggravating factors. So you first identify it's a high tackle or a shoulder charge, and then you decide red, yellow, or penalty. So those are the three sanctions that you can issue as a referee. So what we start with is the guideline that the World Rugby has issued for the red charge. Red card would be a shoulder charge direct to the head or the neck, of the ball carrier. So he would lead direct contact out and out. It's utterly dangerous. It would be a red card. Okay. Then also
on your bike.
Yeah.
On your bike.
Yeah, on your bike or straight to hospital for the ball carrier. Then a high tackle. So that first one was a shoulder charge. Then a high tackle. High tackle is contact with the tackler's shoulder or his head, and the ball carrier's head or neck area. So in that area, however, there must be a degree of danger. So sometimes it would just possibly come up to the chest, and then it would go up there's little, the ball carrier would literally basically just brush it off, if I can put it that way. So there must be a degree of danger. Thence red card. Okay, and then also a direct contact by the tackler with the arm. Okay, direct contact to the neck or the head. Again, direct, high degree of danger. And then that's basically what the red card is. Okay, then we have the yellow card. So next up we move to the yellow card. The yellow card is similar to the red, any red card offence. However, there's mitigating factors, okay, that the referee takes into account. A shoulder charge to the body, not the head, not the neck, okay, but shoulder charge. Let's use it, for example, to the chest area.
Yeah.
But as the law says, a tackle, you need to wrap your arms around it, so there's no arms, so therefore, we go mitigating, we go to yellow. High tackle, around the, between the shoulders and the neck. Yeah. Again, with a low degree of danger. Unlike the red, we said it's a high degree of danger, low degree, so now we go again, yellow. And then also, like we said earlier on, the other one would be maybe the other mitigating factor. The high tackle, but it starts on the chest. What they call often in the commentators, you'd hear them saying, it just slipped up.
Yeah.
So they start here and the shoulder basically goes up in an upward direction. It's momentum. And it would end up here, okay, possible, it's still dangerous. However, it started
And in the
there.
case of where the ball carrier sort of slips.
Yeah, so we can have that also. So that is between, based on the guidelines, between a yellow card and a penalty. So again, that is a mitigating factor. You can see that there was no intention. The tackler, it wasn't intentional. Tackler had intention of tackling legally. However, because of his slip, the body position, he went down, he made contact with the eye. So therefore, okay, it's either penalty or yellow. Okay, and then the other, the last sanction would be the penalty.
Yeah.
So again, this is now where we go, a yellow card offence, but with mitigating factors, okay? There's a shoulder charge, but not to the head or neck, with a low degree of danger. And then also a high tackle. Again, like we said earlier on, chest, arm, but then it slips up. Yeah, and then the last one in terms of a penalty also is a high tackle, but doesn't make any contact to the head or neck. Okay, and the player goes down, and then we can look at the penalty. So, yeah, those are the guidelines.
So that opens up, it opens up to a lot of interpretation out there
correct.
In the heat of the moment.
So,
that being said, because we've got 2 minutes, and I'm sorry to cut you off there.
Yes.
But, so championship trophy started the weekend.
Yes,
There was
I
a
know
bit
you're
of an
going to
issue. Yes, Springbok Australia.
Yeah. We had our incident on Saturday. I think it was a ruck about 5 meters from the Australian line, and the South African or Springbok flank, Elstad. Yeah, he went in and he tried to clear out the one of the players on the ground. Whereas then Australia's prop and front rower, Mr. Tapua, he decided to take his law into their own hands. So what happened is, based on the guidelines there, I feel that it was warranted. The outcome of that, the referee issued a yellow card, okay, based on the fact that
10-minute cool off.
Yeah, but let's go back to the guidelines that we just mentioned now. So again, with that, if you look at it, there was a shoulder charge by
the arm
dragging back, okay, leading with the shoulder. Also, must say it was after the whistle. So he's lucky. It was that's a high degree of danger because the player was basically on the ground. He couldn't get out of it. He couldn't avoid it at all. He went in there shoulder charged. Player needed medical attention, and I think it was fully warranted. You'll have your critics like Mr. Kearns and a few other players overseas, and especially the Australian media after that. But I think it's fully warranted.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the insights. If you have any questions for the ref, so we don't scull the ref, please feel free to email us on couchcoachcpt@gmail.com. Thank you for watching The Couch Coach, and we'll catch you next week.